Hi everyone, this is Maverick Pua, the Chemistry Guru. Now in this video, we want to run through the suggested solution for 2020 A-Levels H2 Chemistry Paper 1, question 29. Now question 29, which diagram correctly shows the arrangement of the 6 coordinate bonds in the regular octahedral complex of ruthenium? So you're given 4 options, A, B, C, D. Now, the topic tested in this exercise is under transition element, but it's actually just focusing on the orientation of your octahedral complex. So octahedral configuration or the shape octahedral, we actually also learn this under VSEPR, considering the shapes of molecules. So octahedral, we do know that the 6 groups are just perpendicular to each other, correct? It's just essentially lying along the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So I do know that octahedral complex, the groups will just be all perpendicular to each other. And what we can do is we can consider, okay, how can I show this octahedral configuration? Actually, by default, I would think that the second one is a lot more common. Most of the time when we draw octahedral species, usually we will draw in this way. So I'll draw the ruthenium or the central atom. Then I'll draw 2 bonds which is closer towards you, as shown by the solid triangle. 2 bonds that is pointing away from you, as shown by this dotted triangle. And 1 bond pointing up and 1 bond pointing down. This one is essentially a more common way of representing octahedral species, shapes with octahedral configuration. And if I try to consider the direction of my axis, then I can think of it in this way. Z-axis is pointing up, and then my x and y-axis, they are all pointing towards the viewer, towards us. So orientation-wise will be something like this. But if I consider another way for me to draw octahedral complexes, keeping in mind that, okay, since my groups or my ligands are just pointing along the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, now I can also think of it in this way. My x-axis will be left and right, my z-axis is up and down, y-axis is in and out, coming out towards you. Then if you try to use this way of drawing my axis, you notice another way for me to draw the same octahedral complex will be something like this. Basically, this line will be along the z-axis, these 2, left and right, will be along the x-axis, then this bond that is pointing towards you and this bond that is pointing away from you will be along the y-axis. Now this is another possible way for us to show my octahedral species or my octahedral complex. Because when we try to compare this with my options A, B, C, D, some of the orientation of the group is a bit messy, it's a bit confusing. So between my 4 options A, B, C, D, A will be a much better answer because you notice A, it is effectively the first guy that we have shown here. Z-axis will be this direction, up and down. X-axis will be left and right. And then these 2 3D bonds that we are drawing here, one is towards you, one is away from you, will be along the y-axis. And we can actually very clearly show this species. The bonds are all perpendicular to each other. So A will be my best answer. Of course, by default, we will try to look out for this guy here because it is a lot more common for us to draw octahedral species in this way, but it is not in any of these options. And so therefore, we will have to try to look at another possible way for me to draw your octahedral complexes where the bonds are all perpendicular to each other. Alright, so running through my 4 options A, B, C, D, in this case for this exercise, A will be my best answer. Alright, so that was the discussion for question 29. If you have learned something useful from this video, please give me the thumbs up, like this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more weekly video lessons. That's all for now. I'll see you next week.